spent 601 days in hospital, so it's a long time on it. The hospital bed. Having the right equipment and care that shaped the success that I enjoyed.
Spare us, Mark implored. The Luther family's ire stems from your altercation with Mendy. What connection does that have with me? Are we acquaintances? Why should I assist you? Ethan countered. Mark found himself speechless in response to Ethan's inquiries. Were they acquaintances? Mark had not only stolen Ethan's girlfriend, but also subjected him to public humiliation, causing Ethan physical distress and making him a subject of ridicule across campus. Their relationship could hardly be described as amicable. Observing Ethan, Jane felt now she realized how little she truly understood him. How could one's demeanor shift?
Hello, sama. Paulit ako.
Ha?
Paulit ako.
Sige na, main na. Magamping.
Magamping ulit. Sige, love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Furthermore, did Ethan possess the means to aid Mark's family to the extent that Mark resorted to kneeling and apologizing? Had Ethan concealed his true wealth all along? Was he testing their relationship? Rumors abounded of wealthy individuals disguising their affluence in pursuit of genuine love. If that were the case, what had she forsaken? Had she discarded a potential suitor of considerable means, all for material possessions? Moreover, this wealthy benefactor had loved, cared for, accommodated, and forgiven her. At that moment, Jane found herself at a loss for words. She had overlooked the forest for the trees. Mark grasped Jane's arm, snapping her back to reality. Ethan! Jane began, but Ethan cut her off. Jane, are you pleading for Mark's family as well? Ethan questioned, fixing her with a piercing gaze. Ethan, I implore you to help Mark, Jane pleaded, summoning her resolve. She had no other recourse. Ethan had severed ties with her. If she relinquished this last thread of hope, she would be left with nothing. You implore? On what basis? As my ex-girlfriend? As a former classmate? Or as Mark's current partner? Ethan taunted. With that, the audience pieced together the unfolding drama. Ethan Drake, please, I beg of you, can't you help me just this once for the sake of our past relationship? Jane's voice lowered as she pleaded. If she could convince Ethan to intervene and resolve Mark's family crisis, she could marry Mark and live a life of luxury, a dream she had harbored since her time with Ethan. Yet, her hesitation stemmed from Ethan's kindness towards her. Otherwise, she would never have sidelined Ethan when Mark confessed his feelings for her. Jane Marlowe, you have no right to beg me. Others might, but not you. After all I've done for you, am I worth less than a few pieces of designer clothing and handbags? I've been blind for too long, but no longer. Farewell. With that, Ethan walked away. But Mark clutched at Ethan's feet desperately. Mr. Drake, it's all my fault. Please help me just this once. You're my only hope now. If you don't help, my family is finished. Mark sobbed, clinging to Ethan's feet. Ethan was Mark's last chance. As Ethan prepared to kick Mark aside, a new disturbance erupted at the entrance. Another figure entered, trailed by a crowd. At the forefront was Jomar Jackson, Crest Falls Student Council President and its most attractive student. He was Lucy Shoren's official partner. Wow, President Jackson's here. Must be to see President Shoren. They're the university's power couple. Let's go see. The gathering around Ethan and Mark dispersed, flocking to Jomar and Lucy. With a little more force, Ethan managed to push Mark aside. Ignoring Mark and Jane, Ethan joined the throng, curious to see Lucy's reaction. The recent events seemed to have no effect on Lucy. Despite the hall's many occupants, only a handful had observed Ethan and Mark. The majority remained focused on Lucy's live demonstration. On stage, Lucy performed alongside an old club member. It was the moment everyone had awaited to be close to the campus beauty. But as Jomar ascended the stage, he addressed the member sternly. I said no men were to approach Lucy. Did you think I was joking? Sorry, President Jackson. I'll leave at once, the member stammered, trembling. Initially eager to volunteer for combat, he had hoped to get close to Lucy. However, Jamar's presence dissuaded him, and Jamar didn't hold back. Who said you could stop? Jomar Jackson. Miss Lucy, Anthony Quinn instructed me to protect you. He disobeyed, so he deserves it, Jomar explained, delivering a forceful kick that sent the member tumbling off stage. Amidst the chaos, Ethan stood firm. As the member hurtled towards him, Ethan swiftly caught and lowered him to safety. Jamar scanned the audience for any reaction. Catching sight of Ethan's face, he froze. Wasn't that Ethan Drake? Jamar couldn't forget the humiliation he'd suffered at Apollo World Class. Despite days passing, he remained fearful of retaliation. Now, Ethan, the man who had just saved a life, stood before him. Even Anthony Quinn, one of a faction's elite fighters, had fled after his defeat. If Ethan sought retribution, what hope did Jamar have? Apologize? With so many watching? But to remain silent risked Ethan's wrath, honor, or life. This was their turf after all. Jamar approached, mustering the courage to address Ethan. Ethan signaled for the member to blend into the crowd. Facing Jamar, Ethan met his gaze head-on. The audience braced for confrontation, but Jamar stunned them all. He bowed deeply. My apologies, Mr. Drake. I was wrong. Please forgive this humble servant's indiscretion. I apologize sincerely. I'm truly sorry. What? The stunned silence enveloped everyone, freezing for the moment in time. Even Lucy, usually composed, was struck speechless. Who was Jomar Jackson? He was the Crestfall University Student Council president, hailed as the most handsome man on campus, rumored to hail from a family of considerable influence. Even individuals like Mark, buoyed by newfound wealth, paled in comparison to Jamar's stature. In the Crestfall hierarchy, even the administration had to heed his words. Yet here he was, bowing and apologizing to Ethan. Who was Ethan? Mark's submission had already hinted at Ethan's influence, but Jomar's deference cemented it further. It was unsettling to realize the depth of power wielded by someone within Crestfall University's confines. Lucy, too, was astonished. Jamar was a confidant of Anthony Quinn, one of a faction's esteemed fighters, a position that commanded respect even from afar. Jamar had always treated everyone, save for Anthony, with a cool detachment. His sudden deference to Ethan spoke volumes. Did this mean Ethan stood shoulder to shoulder with Anthony? Lucy, usually aloof from factional politics, found herself intrigued. She had heard whispers of Anthony's retreat from River City, and now, confronted with Jamar's obeisance to Ethan, the pieces clicked into place. The Choron family, though aristocratic, sought alliances to bolster their standing. They had set their sights on the Quinns, who, facing their own challenges, found common ground. Marriage, a cornerstone of their alliance, loomed large. Lucy, the sole daughter, felt the weight of expectation, her autonomy curtailed by familial obligations. Anthony's affections for Lucy were evident from their first encounter, and familial pressure further cemented his intentions. Lucy's defiance led her to River City, hoping to elude Anthony's grasp. She never imagined he'd deploy a spy. For Ethan, Jomar's unexpected apology was a curveball. He had braced himself for confrontation, even injury, but Jomar's deference caught him off guard. The enmity between UCC and A faction should have precluded such civility. Ethan's self-doubt crumbled in the face of Jomar's humility. He had always underestimated himself, unaware of the fear he could inspire. What? Onlookers shocked. The collective astonishment lingered, each individual processing the unprecedented turn of events. For Anthony Quinn, renowned among a faction's elite, silence in the face of defeat contradicted his prestigious status. His prolonged absence hinted at an inability to regain control upon returning. Despite tensions between a faction and the UCC, movement across their territories was not restricted to ordinary members. Only the upper echelons, the 8 great fighters of a faction, and the core members of the UCC navigated such spheres delicately. Chris, driven by ambition and familial pressures, could have feigned ignorance, but his aspirations for core membership compelled action. Adaptability was key, and Jomar saw no fault in his actions. His reputation remained unscathed among peers, unaware of Ethan's true identity. Graduation loomed for Jomar, shielding him from the consequences of his actions. Ethan's unexpected response caught Jamar off guard. Embarrassed embarrassed by the display, Ethan urged Jamar to temper his approach. The peaceable resolution defied expectations, leaving onlookers both curious and respectful of Ethan's influence. Lucy, observing from the sidelines, found herself disconnected from Ethan, realizing their paths diverged irreconcilably. Jamar, relieved by Ethan's departure, bore the weight of facing Ethan's might alone. Unease lingered in Jamar's parting words to Lucy, hinting at unseen forces at play. The revelation sparked speculation among bystanders, ruminating on Lucy's entanglement with Anthony Quinn and Ethan's newfound influence. The prospect of a clash between Ethan and Anthony intrigued many, yet Ethan's indifference to Lucy's allure left questions unanswered. In the intricate web of alliances and power dynamics, Ethan emerged as a formidable force, reshaping the landscape of Crestfall in mere weeks. With Ethan's disinterest evident, the allure of Lucy's charm waned in the eyes of those watching, leaving the halls of Crestfall University buzzing with speculation and anticipation. Ethan wandered aimlessly after leaving the building, finding solace in the small forest adjacent to the sports field. His gaze lingered on the sweating students engaged in physical activity, lost in contemplation. Reflecting on the whirlwind of events over the past weeks, Ethan found it surreal. From a humble existence to a life transformed by an unexpected system, the journey felt surreal. Lost in his thoughts, Ethan was startled by a clear voice beside him. "Are you Ethan?" Lucy's unexpected presence prompted him to turn and meet her gaze. "Lucy, what could you want with him now?" "Yes," he replied cautiously. "Do you know Anthony?" Lucy's inquiry caught him off guard. "Somewhat. Are you friends? Enemies?" To be deemed an enemy by Anthony speaks volumes. No wonder Jamar fears you, Lucy mused. "You're mistaken. I'm just an ordinary guy," Ethan rebutted. Unfazed by Ethan's response, Lucy pressed on. "Would you consider joining the martial arts club? I entertained the idea, but not anymore." "What's the point if I can't learn anything?" Ethan countered. Lucy bristled at his dismissal from the club. Did he not realize its significance under her leadership? "Do you view the martial arts club as mere child's play?" Lucy's tone held a hint of irritation. "Are there any true talents there?" "You mentioned it was too late to start training," Ethan challenged. Observing Ethan's reluctance, Lucy shifted tactics. "Given your strength, would you consider joining as vice president?" "I appreciate the offer, but I'm not interested. Perhaps you should find someone else," Ethan declined. "Ethan, I've been designated as Anthony's wife. Wouldn't it irk him if you joined the club? A chance to rattle his cage, perhaps?" Lucy prodded. Ethan regarded Lucy with a mix of confusion and disbelief. Was she attempting to manipulate him? Unfazed by Ethan's silence, Lucy continued, offering a final proposal. "Think about it. I'll be waiting." As Ethan prepared to depart, Lucy seized the opportunity to test his skills. Her sudden attack caught him off guard, triggering an instinctual response. In the ensuing chaos, Ethan inadvertently grasped Lucy's neck with alarming force, leaving her gasping for air. Regaining his composure, Ethan released Lucy, his actions driven by instinct rather than intent. As Lucy recovered from the ordeal, Ethan awkwardly attempted to offer comfort, realizing the severity of his actions. Acknowledging his fault, Ethan reluctantly agreed to Lucy's proposition, albeit on his terms. Ethan's departure marked the end of the encounter, leaving Lucy to reflect on the unexpected turn of events with a wry smile. Ethan left, leaving Lucy standing in place with a charming smile, her face showing a hint of astonishment. It seemed that she would have to rely on Ethan to change the destiny her family had set for her. But did she only want to change the destiny arranged by her family? Perhaps she could strive for more. The thought made Lucy's breath quicken. She had long given up on such unrealistic ideas, even resigning herself to her arranged marriage. However, meeting Ethan, with his sudden burst of strength, had ignited a spark of hope within her. She had never felt such a powerful aura, not even from her family's elders. Ethan was undoubtedly a genius, nurtured by a supreme power. Despite being peers, the gap in their abilities was insurmountable. Lucy, the second-degree successor of the Chorons, saw a chance with Ethan's help. Another 2 days passed, and Ethan became the vice president of the martial arts club, though he kept his distance from Lucy. He understood her intentions, to use him against Anthony. He accepted the role out of a sense of guilt, knowing that although Lucy had attacked him first, she had no intention of causing proposition as an apology, Ethan decided that any requests from Lucy would depend on his mood. One day, Ethan received a call from Lance, a UCC Corps member who wanted to meet him at the Crystal Heights Hotel. Taking the afternoon off, Ethan arrived at the hotel and was greeted by Lance, who led him to the presidential suite, where Joseph Chu, another UCC Corps member, was waiting. "I've heard a lot about you, Ethan. My name's Joseph Chu." The man greeted him with a smile, sizing Ethan up. He was surprised by Ethan's young age, considering his feat of driving Anthony out of River City. "You're too kind, Mr. Chu," Ethan replied politely. Ethan observed Joseph while he spoke, noting his appearance, a man in his early 30s, with a gentle and elegant demeanor. He seemed like a modest gentleman, undoubtedly charming. Despite not exuding a superior aura, Joseph's presence was akin to a refreshing breeze, making Ethan feel comfortable in his company. As the trio settled into their seats, Joseph poured Ethan a cup of tea, urging him to try it. Unable to refuse, Ethan took a sip, pleasantly surprised by the sweet aftertaste and fragrant aroma. "It's really good," he remarked, although his knowledge of tea was limited to what he had seen on television. As a part-time worker during the holidays, he had never tasted such high-quality tea before. If tea connoisseurs knew his thoughts, they would be astonished. This tea was a rarity, enjoyed only by the elite. Joseph, with a smile, attributed the tea to Ethan's influence. "It is all thanks to you that I get to drink this cup of tea today," he explained, hinting at the involvement of a higher authority. Intrigued, Ethan wondered who this big boss could be, but refrained from asking, sensing there was more to the story. Lance then interjected, expressing curiosity about the events that led to Anthony's embarrassment. Ethan recounted the incident, omitting the part where he effortlessly shattered Anthony's sword. He believed it improper to boast about himself. However, Joseph, having heard rumors, questioned Ethan's reticence, describing the impressive feat with astonishment. Ethan modestly redirected the conversation, highlighting Paolo and Dan's battle as the most interesting part. Joseph remained silent, recognizing the significance of Ethan's abilities. To him, Ethan's proud war with Ethan, Joseph, a UCC Corps member, was particularly impressed by Ethan's strength, realizing he might struggle to defeat Anthony in a fight. Despite being a high-ranking Corps member, Joseph knew most of them were no match for the 8 great fighters of the A faction. Feeling a bit bored, Ethan was not accustomed to these kinds of conversations with important figures. While he did not see himself as a big shot yet, others clearly did. As their discussion neared its end, Joseph revealed the true purpose of his visit. "Ethan, I'm not just here to chat. I have a message from the big boss," he said, referring to Elmer Zimmerman, one of the founders of UCC. Curious, Ethan inquired about Elmer and his request, admitting his newness to UCC. Joseph explained that Elmer needed a favor from Ethan in about 6 months, although the specifics were still unclear. Joseph then recounted the story of Elmer's past friendship with Stan from the A faction, which was fractured by their mutual affection for Laura Lovewood, a woman of extraordinary beauty and charm. Laura had captivated both Elmer and Stan, leading to a pact between them that she would marry the best among the younger generation after a 10-year absence. With the contract's end approaching, Elmer hoped Ethan could assist him, believing Ethan's abilities and connections could make him a valuable ally. Understanding the situation, Ethan was surprised by the real-life drama unfolding before him, reminiscent of a TV drama plot. What kind of woman could cause such a rift between 2 powerful figures? Ethan found himself truly intrigued by Laura's allure. "Have you ever seen Laura, Joseph? What sort of woman could capture the hearts of 2 powerful men, causing them to turn against each other?" Ethan inquired with genuine curiosity. "Unfortunately, I was in Springfield at the time. Laura's visit to Manila City was brief, so I never had the chance to lay eyes on her." "Quite a shame, really," Joseph responded, sharing Ethan's curiosity about Laura's character. Ethan sought clarification on how he could assist without clear instructions. "What am I supposed to do in this situation?" he asked. "No need to fret, Ethan. The competition for Laura's favor would likely revolve around power and ability. There's a chance she may even ask them to compete directly, leaving you with little to do. We're simply asking for your support, just in case," Joseph reassured him. Exciting! Ethan realized he might witness the showdown between the 2 powerful men without lifting a finger. Very well, count me in. Just inform me when the time comes. Ethan agreed. Acknowledging his new role, Ethan recognized the need to demonstrate respect to the big boss and saw this promotion as an opportunity to expand his influence within UCC. How straightforward, Ethan. From now on, you'll be a core member of UCC. It's the big boss's decision. I'll send you the details of your new role and responsibilities soon. Unlike a high-tier member, a core member holds senior status and participates in major decisions, Joseph informed him. Promoted to a core member already? Ethan was surprised by the rapid advancement without any expenditure on his part. Lance observed Ethan's promotion with envy. Becoming a core member was a dream for many high-tier members, offering access to UCC's resources and protection for one's family. Chris's reckless behavior, despite knowing he couldn't match Anthony, underscored the allure of core membership. Promotion to this status could resolve family crises and ensure safety under UCC's umbrella. While internal rivalry existed within UCC, members united against external threats, per the directive of the three bosses. Ethan's swift promotion would surely stir envy among stuck high-tier members, highlighting the advantages of being a core member within UCC's hierarchy. Before departing, Joseph added Ethan to a group chat comprising 15 individuals. This chat was exclusive to UCC's core members, numbering 15 in total, the three founders and 12 core members. With Ethan's inclusion, the count now stood at 13. Within UCC, core members held the highest authority, often determining the outcomes of major decisions through collective voting, a stark contrast to a faction's structure, where Stan wielded unilateral power. Upon Ethan's entry, Morris, a Springfield native and UCC core member, voiced his surprise. Joseph, who's the new member? I wasn't informed. As the one who added Ethan, Joseph fielded Morris's inquiry. It's the big boss's decision. Must he notify you beforehand, Morris? Joseph replied. The big boss's decision? Who is it? And why is he extending special privileges? Ethan Drake from River City. Ethan Drake? The one who faced Anthony head-on and ousted him from River City? Exactly. Impressive. Ethan chimed in with a brief introduction. Hello, I'm Ethan. Pleased to meet you all. Ethan, huh? We can't exactly coddle you. You're practically famous, Morris replied. Ethan found himself immediately targeted, prompting Joseph to intervene. Ethan, don't mind him. He's just a loose cannon. Joseph said. Joseph, repeat that. A loose cannon? You... Before a confrontation erupted, another member intervened. UCC member. Enough, you two. We're a family. What's with the bickering? Let's welcome the new member. Ethan, welcome to the family. Numerous members followed suit with welcome, though Ethan couldn't discern their sincerity. Unfamiliar with the group dynamics, Ethan chose to remain silent to avoid further scrutiny. Joseph had omitted the internal dynamics of UCC, leaving Ethan to navigate this unfamiliar territory alone. As the weekend approached, and with Aunt Sally still recovering, Ethan planned to visit Shoe City the following week. Though he'd promised Alexa a visit earlier, due to misunderstandings, Ethan felt obligated to honor Alexa's invitation, suspecting she had ulterior motives. Navigating the complexities of relationships wasn't easy, especially with increasing attention from women like Micah, Mendy, Kendall, and Alexa. Upon tallying the interest of all four of these stunning women, Ethan found himself taken aback. How should he navigate the situation? In such scenarios, only children would choose a single option from a multiple-choice question. Sighing, he resigned himself to playing it by ear. His biggest weakness lay in his inability to refuse others. For instance, the situation with Lucy wasn't entirely his fault. She initiated the conflict, and he merely reacted instinctively, yet he was the one left apologizing in the end. Ethan mulled it over. This tendency seemed to stem from his time with Jane. Whenever she made a request, he'd bend over backward to fulfill it, incapable of uttering the word no. This habit had developed over 4 years of being a pushover, so readjusting would take some time. Regarding women, Ethan struggled to adopt a callous demeanor, especially with those of exceptional beauty. Did he truly possess the capacity to become a heartless cad? Shelving these existential questions for now, he rang up Alexa. He confirmed that he'd accompany her home on Saturday. Naturally, Alexa was overjoyed. The next morning, Ethan's slumber was interrupted by Alexa's call, inquiring about his departure time. Glancing at the clock, barely 6 o'clock, he wondered if she'd stayed up all night. He wasn't far off. Alexa had been so thrilled since their conversation that sleep eluded her entirely. To her, Ethan was akin to Mary Jane's savior, swinging in with his spiderweb to rescue her family. Just like Mendy, the man who appeared when she hit rock bottom left an indelible impression. Ethan's multifaceted talents only amplified his allure, drawing these unsuspecting women to him like moths to a flame. By 7 a.m., Ethan was on the move, heading towards the Multimedia University. Alexa awaited him eagerly at the entrance, amid a flurry of activity typical for Saturday. Luxury vehicles ferrying students were a common sight, mainly driven by middle-aged men sporting beer bellies, likely fathers, though some may have been sugar daddies. Despite the university's bevy of beauties, Alexa stood out effortlessly. Tall, elegant, with a figure to envy, she exuded allure in a white dress, drawing eyes wherever she went. Alexa took extra care with her appearance today, even applying light makeup to make a lasting impression on Ethan. As luxury car drivers observed her, their prized pickups paled in comparison. Some even approached Alexa, offering rides and ulterior motives. However, Alexa rebuffed them all. She witnessed friends succumbing to these so-called bosses' advances, exchanging dignity for resources and money, further solidifying her admiration for Ethan. Had he not extended a helping hand of $100 million, she might have found herself in the same predicament. Thus, Ethan became an indelible figure in her life. Lost in thought about Ethan, Alexa felt a tap on her shoulder and heard a familiar voice behind her. June Shaw, her fellow rising star in the acting department. Half a head shorter than Alexa, June possessed a charming,